Hey guys, in case you missed class today or just wanted to recap, let me show you a couple things that I added to Google Classroom. If you will scroll down, you'll notice under resources, I've added these science cheat sheets. Um, when you look at them, there's a lot of information that in science you don't have to memorize because we have reference materials. So this is a nice little reference for us that we can go back and look at as we go throughout the year. So take a look at it. I'm not going to make it show up more than this for copyright reasons, but take a good look at it. And there's a lot of basic science information. So that's there for you just at any time. Scroll down a little further. I've added a new topic for our science notebook. So you'll have a science notebook. Notice the composition notebook picks right next to it. I prefer composition books just because they're a little hardier. Spirals tend to get bent out of shape and the little spiral thing gets pokey and it just frustrates me personally. So whatever works for you, what you got. But when you open this Google Slides, I will update as we go throughout the year and add in what we have taken and put in our science notebook, right? So I put some pictures here in case you got behind in class or weren't with us today about how to set up your table of contents. Make this kind of chart on front and back, and then another front and back. Okay, we're going to be really busy this year, and this is where we're going to contain all our thoughts. As we go throughout the year, I'll show you some famous scientists' notebooks. In class, I would have shown you one of mine from my geology adventures in the state of Texas. So I'll show you some like Da Vinci and Einstein and how they contain their thoughts. Right? So obviously this observations and inferences notes only goes on that first page of table of contents. Don't write that on all of them. Okay? So I repeat, a front and back, and then a front and back. Go ahead and set that up so we're ready to rock for the year. Okay? Then we made a little triangle divider. All right, so use your origami skills. You'll fold the page backward, like you'll hold the top corner and pull it down, and then grab the grab the bottom corner and fold it up, and then you'll have a little triangle, kind of like a paper football. Okay, but the little flap on the back side will get annoying, so just use a little piece of tape or a piece of glue, like dab of glue, just to hold it down. Then in class today, we discussed observations and inferences and how you've been making them literally since birth. We just need to add some fancier words to it and start distinguishing them in the different ways we take those observations. So you'll notice here, these are the notes that need to get copied into your science notebook. Feel free to use whatever colors you want unless I specifically direct you to use a certain color. And we will sometimes because it'll help you make the right association in your brain. But we see that we gather information with our five senses, and we can either do it directly, like how you're listening to my voice right now and looking at the screen, or we'll do it indirectly. Sorry, I can't talk today. So maybe think like a Christmas present or a birthday present. You can't open it, but you can shake it, and you can listen to what's going inside. You can feel the weight of it and how it moves to help you try to figure it out. Or sometimes we can use things like microscopes and telescopes when our own senses, we can't use it. So think about like the center of the earth. We can't go there. It's too hot and too much pressure. But we can use earthquake waves to help us figure out what we think is on the inside of the earth. And there's an Amber Alert on my phone. Timeout, so sorry. Carrying on. So types, qualitative and quantitative. Okay, so you know how to make observations, but now we're going to give them a name. In science, we like to use quantitative because there's less confusion about them and people are less likely to argue. Like if I say something is red and you tell me that it's, maroon, it might still be the same family of color. So if we can, we try to go to quantitative measurements. Okay, so notice qualitative describes the quality, nature, or kind. So like anything in front of you, pick up an object, look at its color, look at its texture. Is it a solid, a liquid, or a gas? That's the type of thing that's qualitative. And then quantitative basically has a number. Right? You see the word quantity inside. Anything that has a number, a measurement like weight or height, if we're counting things, like there's, 25 kids in a class, anything like that that has a number is quantitative. So it's really easy. Does it have a number? If it does, it's quantitative. If it does not, it's qualitative. All right, but we don't just make observations to make observations. We use those to make inferences about the world around us. Okay, so we take those observations and we explain them, or we interpret what we're seeing based on our prior knowledge, based on our past experience, and what's logical to us. Like if you see a cat run past you really fast, you may say that the cat is running, it must be dinner time and it's hungry, right? We don't know, unless you see the owner like opening the can of food. I may say the cat is running, a dog must be chasing it. That's based on my experience when I've seen a cat run. Okay, so inferences are explaining what we see, and we try to keep opinion out of it and make it as factual as possible. You'll notice down here at the bottom, it says O or I, and it's numbered to 10. Okay, I'm going to go back to classroom. So we're done here with the science notebook. That's what you have in yours, numbered to 10. When I go back here, you'll see observations or inferences. On this Google slide are 10 examples, and you have to determine, is it an observation or an inference? Okay, and use those notes to help you out. Once you've got that down, feel free to discuss with someone in your household the right answers and use the notes to help you. You'll see this observation scavenger hunt. Okay, so there's a copy of this Google slide just for you. And what you'll do is, using some of your prior science knowledge from elementary school and just, being alive, you're going to go around and find objects that match these descriptions. So a lot of this stuff has to do with some of the science you learned in elementary school, and we're using our power observations all at the same time. So ideally, in your house, around your house, in your neighborhood. Now, if you really struggle with putting the pictures in, which we need to stick at that until we figure it out, and you're welcome to attend tutoring, or ask a friend, ask a parent to help you. If you have to, you can use images from Google, but we really want to get comfortable with finding images and putting them in, like finding what works for you and your device. But, examples like around your house, water in the form of a solid, a liquid, a gas. It can't be all three at once. See how it says 3 separate pictures. So maybe I'm going to go to the refrigerator and get out some ice cubes and take a picture and put it here. And then maybe I'll get some water out of the sink. Or maybe I'm going to, put a pot on the stove to make some macaroni, and that water is going to boil and turn into steam. Okay, so you'll put the pictures here. And then you've got other ones. Notice that some of them have like little bonus questions. Okay, so try to answer them. Most of them you already know, or it's a quick Google search. Okay, so you'll complete this and turn it in on Classroom. All right, your due date is listed with the assignment in your Google Classroom. Okay, but if you ever have questions, you can send me a private message on Classroom, or email me, or come to tutoring. All right, let me know if you have any questions. I think that wraps it up for the day. And we'll move on next week. Great first week, y'all.